Oh, we are live, Tom. Good morning, Hazel. Good morning, everybody at home. And welcome. And thanks for that, Tom. Thanks for tarnishing my name already within the first 10 seconds of a live stream. My first live stream in many years, and my name's already been tarnished. So thanks for that, Tom. But yes, yeah, we do, yeah. But yeah, good morning, everybody. Let us know in the chat how you're feeling ahead of the draw. I always get a little bit nervous because this kind of decides the fate of the World Championship in many ways, doesn't it? Obviously Jack Jones qualifier last year got to the final. David Gilbert, Stuart Bingham were both qualifiers that got to the semi-final. So where these qualifiers end up actually does shape up the tournament quite significantly. So it's a big one. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's I think I've seen his sixth favourite, Tom, for the World Championship, and he was before the qualifiers started. Um, well, quite possibly. Obviously, we still haven't had confirmation either way of whether Ronnie is going to be playing. I think a lot of that actually will have to do with who he's playing. To be honest with you. But yeah, apparently, Tom, you are muted. Let me just. I don't know. I don't. You're certainly not on. Certainly not on mine. I don't know. Let's see. Can't hear Tom. Why? Why wouldn't you be able to hear Tom? Right. Let me. It's quite funny. This is some good foreshadowing because Tom hasn't got any headphones, so for the actual draw, he's gonna have to mute himself. Try and talk now, Tom.
Hello? Can you hear me? Can the people hear me?
We'll have to wait for a couple of minutes while the stream catches up. But yeah, I'll keep talking for now. I don't know why that is. Obviously, he's coming through on my computer. It might just be a thing with the audio tracks, Tom, because we're all set up for the podcast as well. So it might just be that you're on a different audio track. But there we go.
Hello?
We've got a thumb up. We've got a thumb up.
Good.
Fantastic work. Right.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, obviously, we were talking about Ronnie, weren't we? He's not been. He's not confirmed whether he's going to be playing, and I've seen a couple of theories that it might depend on who he's happy to give a bye and who he's not happy to give a bye through to the next round.
We're hoping that he draws Ali Carter, right?
Yeah, I mean that would be hilarious. Or Hussein Vafai, of course. It's one of the qualifiers. I mean, should we have a look at some of the qualifiers, Tom? Obviously it went on till about 8-9 o'clock last night. It wasn't a late one because they obviously start the final session at 5 o'clock. I think they've learned from previous mistakes of Fergal O'Brien being in deciders and all of that good stuff. But of course, our big World Championship preview will be out later today. Once the draw is complete, we are recording it straight away and it'll be out as soon as possible. So we'll have our good hour and a half, 2 hour preview to the World Championship with our usual segments in there. But Daniel Wells qualified, Crucible debutant there, Tom. I think I backed him to qualify a couple of years ago, so I'm annoyed I didn't this time, but beat Gary Wilson 10-9 in a decider.
Yeah, big shot, really, I think.
Yeah. And me, he was well ahead as well. Daniel Wells could have went 7-2, I think. Ended up being 6-3. It was quite close in the end. 10-9, obviously. Zhao Yulong qualified 10-5 over Yuan Xijun. Zach Surety, again, making a Crucible debut. Absolutely hammered Ricky Walden. I don't know if you've seen that shot where Ricky Walden potted the pink off the black, and then the black rolled into the middle. Oh, it's a fantastic shot. We'll have to search that up for you. Hossein Vafai got through. Ben Wollaston, first time in 12 years. He's qualified. We talked about him in the preview, didn't we? He's just one of these players that you never see all season, but somehow is ranked in the 40s. Zhao Xin Tong, as we've already mentioned.
Did you see the interview with him after winning? Because Rob Walker's like, "Oh, it's amazing! It's trying to build up the story." He's been like, "Oh, it's brilliant! The first time in over 10 years." And Wollaston's like, "Yeah, I'd rather you didn't mention that, mate. You just made me feel a bit rubbish."
Yeah, he was still going with his shoulder dislocations, wasn't he? That's the new Rob Walker move. But yeah.
Do you think that's why Ali Carter made sure he told him that he had a neck injury, so Rob wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Rachel about this actually, and she said, "Well, has a player paid Rob Walker to dislocate everybody's shoulders? So therefore, if we keep an eye on who he doesn't do that to, then that identifies the player that's paying him off." But yeah, Zhao Xin Tong, of course, we've mentioned. Ryan Day. Some of these players go under the radar, but seem to qualify every single year. Sonny Akani got to the final round of qualifying there. Chris Wakelin, strictly Chris Wakelin, podcast favourite there. I know we'll both be happy about that one. Fan Zheng Yi. So for our Fan Zheng Yi mail, he is there, and hopefully he'll get far in the World Championship so we can keep going with that pun. Joe O'Connor beating the maximum man, Jackson Page, who's given Willie Thorne a run for his money. 2 maximums in a match. Unbelievable. Pang Jung Soo. I mean, I misread that. I thought it said Jimmy White there. It should have been Jimmy White in that quarter of the draw, but
just a reminder, Joe was like, "Oh yeah, Jimmy White can definitely qualify. He'll definitely beat Pang."
I never said that. I said it's his best chance ever to qualify. Yeah, and he nearly went out in round 1. But anyway, apart from that, let's just move swiftly on. We've got Wu Yiza, who obviously beat Matthew Stevens in a decider. That was gutting because I'm a big fan of Matthew Stevens. David Gilbert beat Aaron Hill in a decider. Lei Pai Fan beat Gao Yang in a decider. Matt Selt beat Jimmy Robertson in a decider. Apparently, there was 3 re-racks in that last frame. I did watch quite a bit of it. All of the reds ended up in the bulk end at one point. It was pretty crazy. But Jimmy Robertson missed the pink for the match, the penultimate pink. I don't know if you remember that match with Mark Davis and Joe Perry a few years ago. It was very, very similar to that. And the aforementioned Ali Carter beat He Gaojiang 10 frames to 5. So there you go. Those were our qualifiers. Any ones that are standing out to you, Tom?
Well, I mean, it's the ones that you get excited about. I think as a bit of a snooker nerd are the debuts. Do you know what I mean? Zach Surety, I think, is really exciting. It's good to see him there. Daniel Wales. He was the inaugural winner of the Paul Hunter sponsorship kind of foundation thing back in 2010. So he was a very promising young player, and it's nice to see him. He's taken a while, but he's finally seems to actually look comfortable on the tour. So I think both of those are players who I'll be rooting for to hopefully get a decent draw. Because when I think a player is a relatively long-term pro and they make their debut, you feel a bit bad if it's like Mark Joyce and he draws Ronnie in the first round. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think people will actually want to be drawn against Ronnie with the chance of possibly getting a bye. And I genuinely think this year, more than ever, you'd want to draw Ronnie.
Possibly.
It gets you through the second week straight away if he does withdraw. So, yeah. Yeah, draw's starting in 5 minutes. It has actually started the live stream on BBC Sport website. So if you are somebody that wants to watch the draw live, then you can. We are going to stream it on here as well. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, it's hopefully going to be a good little event. This draw with Rob Walker usually. Which player is going to be joining him, do you reckon, Tom?
I wonder whether it'll be like Joe Perry or Dominic Dale, one of those two.
It could be. I'm going to go John Parrott. It's always John Parrott. Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Starting up in about 4 minutes. But let us know in the chat who you think is going to qualify, or who you think is going to be played off against each other. So we've got Jamie Humphreys in there. Morning to Jamie. We've got some guy in bed. We've got Chris Reed. Hello. We've got Matthew W. And Tom Lewis, the great legend that is Tom Lewis, is here. He's gutted that Jamie's out. Ronnie for the 8th, he's saying. I am going to the Crucible, Tom, next Thursday. We've got Charles Schuyler saying Zhao is brutal. Sounds like a Rob Walkerism, that.
I was going to say, the one thing you can guarantee is that Rob Walker will A, say brutal, and B, he'll call it the Cruce, and we'll all just go,
The Cruce, yeah. Val Moralt says, where can I watch the draw? That's on BBC, we've talked about that. Peter Young has joined us. O'Sullivan versus Zhao Xingtong. It feels inevitable, that, doesn't it? It does feel inevitable. We've got Tom Lewis predicting Daniel Wells versus Mark Williams. Interesting. We've got Klaus in the comments. Can I watch the draw live somewhere? On the BBC. Or we are going to be streaming it as well.
Yeah, we'll be doing like a reaction to it.
To it, yeah. Yeah, I might just put it on in the background.
Well, if you want to swap over and sort of commentate over while that's happening, then we can do that, because it's going to start very soon, right?
I'll just put them over your face, Tom. That's all I'll do. I'll just put it over your face. You know, it's very rude, isn't it?
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I can't compete with Rob Walker's beauty.
Yeah. If you weren't here before, Tom will have to go to listen to the draw, because he's not brought any headphones. So Tom is now going to be taken over by the stream feed. He's still there in the background, but you know, we have replaced Tom for a new and improved model of Kyron Wilson currently. So there you go. I can still see Tom's reactions, so I can let you know. But if they do waffle for a bit, Tom, please just come back on, because I don't want to commentate over Rob Walker saying brutal. You know, that would be pretty sad if I had to do that. But yeah, thank you to everybody for turning out this morning. I've no idea how many people are watching at the minute. 82 apparently, Tom. So that is absolutely amazing. So thank you very much for spending your Thursday morning with us. We have Cross Court Tennis saying hi, guys. We've got Sai saying much love, Willie Thorne's former manager here. Much love. Hello, good to see you, Sai. We've just talked about Willie Thorne. Actually, we were saying Jackson Page is trying to take Willie Thorne's mantle of being Mr. Maximum. Peter Young is from Malaysia, so he's very thankful that we are going to be streaming the draw, because I'm not sure they can access Rob Walker's dulcet tones this morning from Malaysia. I know they're all devastated about that. Ronnie, is due to play on Tuesday if he does decide to play. Okay. Yeah, we got loads of comments here, Tom. Loads of comments. Perhaps you can be in the comments section. You can give us your live reactions in the comments. There you go. What time's the draw? It's apparently 8:45, but it's already 8:46, so fashionably late. Rob Walker there. Live from BBC Sport HQ, Media City in Salford. Not too long away from me, Tom. I could have ran there. I could have tried to do the draw myself. Yeah, Sai saying Ronnie versus Ali Carter. We were saying that is a distinct possibility. And Ronnie would possibly decide to play just because he wouldn't want to give Ali Carter a bye. But, yeah. When will the draw start? Well, your guess is as good as mine, Jason. We are waiting for it. Oh, here we go. We've got Rob Walker dancing. This is brilliant.
Come on, Mark.
Come on, Mark.
Jig Mark.
He's too cool for school.
And I am going to turn it right down.
That would be terrific.
Just because they're, playing copyright.
Now, Five Live Breakfast, Rick and Rachel. The reason I'm introducing myself is because we are bringing in viewers on the BBC Sport website, hello, and app, and the BBC iPlayer as we bring you live coverage of the draw for the World Snooker Championship. It is the third year in a row we've hosted it.
We are the go-to people for snooker draws. We've got four-time world champion Mark Selby with us in the studio.
It's Mark Selby.
Mark, you look remarkably relaxed about this draw.
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's out of our control, isn't it? It's up to you guys. So there's nothing we can do. It's pointless worrying about anything you can't control.
A lot of power in these fingers, Mark.
Do let me know about the audio levels, everybody.
From Jane in Churchdown, which she says is Jack Lazowski's home village. Lovely to hear Mark talking my favourite player. Good luck, Mark, for the World Championship. It's nice,
thank you, Jane. Yes,
nice little boost going into the draw. Let's bring in the Crucible Master of Ceremonies, Rob Walker, who has stripped
Tom, you might
down,
want to talk for a bit here because Rob's about to. He's going to talk through the draw.
Yeah, the jacket is off. I think the waistcoat will start to be unbuttoned. Who knows what's going to happen with the shirt and vest? Let's see how the draw goes. So talk us through the 32 players we've got and how it's going to work, Rob.
Right, this is so exciting. Rachel,
I know.
You are pulling out the top 16.
I am.
Ricardo, you've got the men who've done it even harder. They've come through the cauldron of Judgment Day. We have, check this out, we've got a record number of Chinese players, 10. We've got 9 men who've lifted the title before, 8 different nationalities and 3 debutants. All we need after that is a partridge in a pear tree. We are ready. This is huge. It's the biggest occasion in our sport and we are so excited. Let's do it.
I was saying earlier on, genuinely, as a lifelong snooker fan, it is extraordinary for me to have, I would say, a pivotal part to play in the World Snooker
This is
Championship.
going to be us next year, Tom.
10-year-old me, this.
We're going to be hosting Rob Walker and Mark Selby as they do the live Crucible draw.
Who, in the words of our script here, is here to make sure we don't muck it up.
Have a bit of faith, Ivan.
We are
it's
not
gone so well previously.
I'm sure it's worded different to that.
It genuinely isn't, unfortunately.
Right.
All right.
Are we ready?
I think so.
Should we get going?
So.
Okay, so I have
here
the seeds. I'm going to pull out the first ball. So here we go. First ball is ball number 2.
Judd Trump, world champion in 2019, world number 1, 3 titles this season alone.
Form player will play number 24.
Zhou Yulong, 3 times a ranking event finalist. It's his third
that's already
Crucible
quite
campaign.
a big
Played
draw, isn't
brilliantly in
it?
the qualifiers.
That's
Next
winnable
seed
for
out
Zhou
is
Yulong.
ball number 12.
Number 12, Zhang Anda, international championship winner in 23.
Mighty Mouse.
Twice a ranking event runner-up, his 5th Crucible campaign.
Will play player number 22.
Pang Jung-Soo, a ranking event finalist. All Chinese clash. Record number of Chinese players this year. It's going to be epic.
Followed by player number 15.
Hey.
Sean Murphy won his 2nd Masters title in January, 20 years after his world crown in 2005. And the Magician will play
Number 30.
Dan Wells, the debutant. He was in tears at the qualifiers. Couldn't believe that he'd beaten Gary Wilson.
Well, sorry, Tom, your prediction's gone wrong. Tom Lewis, that is.
It's ball number 5.
The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the greatest player in history, an iconic figure for British sport.
Who's going to get a bye through to round 2?
17.
17. I cannot believe that. It's a rerun of 2 World Championship finals. He plays
It is Ali Carter.
We're delivering here. That's exciting.
Next player out is number 10.
Ding Junhui, a huge star of Chinese sport, 15 times a ranking event winner, runner-up to Selbitron. in 16.
Silvertron. 31.
Will play debutant Zach Surety. Zach Surety says he normally watches the World Championship in his pants, but Zach, you're not watching it at home today, mate. You're going to be in it.
The next ball out is number 8.
Mark Allen, a Masters champion, a UK champion, 11 titles in his career so far.
29.
He will play Fang Zhengyi, European Masters champion in 2022, back at the Crucible for the second time.
And ball number 16.
16, Jack Jones, quarter-finalist on his debut. What a run to the final 12 months ago. And the Welshman will play
32.
Zhao Xin Tong, UK champion in 2022. 12
tough one for
centuries in the
Jack Jones
qualifiers.
there.
Xin Tong
Taking
is
on
right
Zhao
back to his
Xin Tong.
best.
Wow.
That's a huge match.
Next game.
That's a huge
ball
match.
number 3.
Higgins, right back to his very best. 4 times a world champion, and he's won 2 titles already this calendar year. He's on fire.
23.
And he will play Joe O'Connor back for a second successive Crucible campaign.
Another big
Great
match.
friend of Mark
Higgins
Selby's.
versus
What a
O'Connor.
match that is.
Wow.
Right, we're halfway through. Mark Selby still
Another
waiting to see
motivation
who
for me,
he's gonna be
Tom, is
facing.
I'm going to see Mark Selby next week.
Number 9.
Number 9, Neil Robertson,
wondering who he's
English
gonna be
Open
playing.
champion, World Grand Prix winner this season, and champion of the world back in 2010. And Robbo will play.
All 18.
What a match. Chris Wakelin, former shootout winner, made his Masters debut in January. That's a belter.
Next
Strictly
up,
Chris Wakelin there.
number 14.
14, Zhao Gudong, Wuhan Open winner, just got married. He's having the best season of his career.
25.
And he will play Matthew Selt, the last man to come through the qualifiers. A thrilling 10-9 win over Jimmy Robertson last night.
Yeah,
Right.
a bit of incident there as well. We'll talk about that afterwards.
The next one up, number 6.
Number 6, Mark Williams, 3 times a world champion,
Mark
the
Williams
reigning
now.
champion of champions. Wonderful win in Bolton
Last of
in
the class
autumn.
of 92.
19.
And he will play Wu Yiza, twice a ranking event
Wu
finalist
Yiza,
this
wow.
season. One of the most
Tough
exciting
match
young
for
players
Mark
ever
Williams
to emerge
there.
from China.
Who's having eyesight
Bang
troubles,
on,
obviously.
shake.
Give it a jiggle.
Here we go.
Give it a
Ball
jiggle.
number 11.
Barry Hawkins, 4 times a ranking event winner. He's been in
Big Baz.
brilliant form this season. Runner-up to O'Sullivan in 13, remember.
21 or 20, Rob?
That is a
21.
21.
Oh, the
21.
presenter
He will
doesn't know
play
his
Hussein
numbers.
Vafai, former shootout champion, back for his 4th successive Crucible campaign. 3 centuries in the qualifiers to finish off that great win.
Pretty sure that's 21.
No, it is. I've had a look
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
sevens.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
all right.
It's a bit ambiguous, those ones. Okay. Here we go. Number 4.
The
Hey.
jester from Leicester, the 4-time world champion Mark Selby, in cracking form. Welsh Open winner, British Open winner this season. And the jester will
Who's
play
he got 28.
28, Ben Wollaston. Oh, no, 2 great mates, both Leicester boys. Wollaston back at the Crucible
Oh,
for
I'm
the
so
first time in
delighted.
12 years. It's one of the matches he didn't want, but it's a
Ben
local
Wollaston
derby.
is playing
no
Mark
problem.
Selby,
More
so
reaction to that in a
that'll be my
moment.
match
Okay,
next
number
next
1.
Thursday.
Kyron Wilson, the defending champion. He has
Ooh, big one.
flourished since winning the
First
Ultimate
session,
Crown.
10
Could he
o'clock
break
on
the
Saturday,
Crucible curse?
Kyron
No
Wilson.
first-time champion has ever successfully defended the crown.
Well, he'll need to beat ball number 27.
Lee Pei Fan, Scottish Open champion this season.
Lee
What
Pei
a
Fan,
debut
very
match
good.
for him. That's 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Defending champion always goes first.
2 games left to decide. So, here we go with number 7.
Luca Bracel, who could forget that world title 2 years ago? 4 times a ranking event winner in all. And
Luca
the Belgian
Bracel, who
bullet
of course
will
could drop
play
to number 50 in the world if he loses in the
26.
first round.
26, Ryan Dynamite Day.
Oof,
Back
he's
for a
got a tough
16th
match against
Crucible
Ryan
campaign.
Day as
3
well.
times he's made the quarters. Interesting
Wow.
match, that Belgium against Wales.
And the final seed is number 13.
13, Siawi, a surprise semi-finalist 2 years and made the last 4 in Saudi Arabia at the start of this season. And he will play
Number 20.
number 20, Dave Gilbert, a brilliant run to the semis last year. Wow, what an absolutely glittering lineup. You two have done an amazing
Done it
job.
again.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't want to say,
But
yeah, I
Mark
think you're
will
right.
not be happy at having
Well,
to
there
play
you go,
Ben
Tom.
Wollaston.
That is the draw. We have got it right there. We've got the top half and the bottom half. I'm trying to get a screen grab of that just before it all goes to pot. Let's see. But yeah, do you want to come back in now, Tom? going to get rid of the screen now so that good old Tom can come back. You're muted at the minute, Tom, by the way. Oh no.
Hello?
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Very professional here at the Snooker Loopy podcast.
Oh, well, you can't expect anything else. But what a draw we have just had there. The prophecy came true. Ronnie versus Ali Carter. Genuinely, I think Ronnie might well withdraw after that. He will not want to get beaten by Ali Carter.
No, but he won't want to give Ali Carter a bye.
That's true.
I think he'll be up for it. I think he'll suddenly rediscover his form. But
it's a very tough first match, though, isn't it?
Well, Ali's going to try all his little tricks. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be really trying to wind him up, and he's going to be like, "Oh, Ronnie, you got a new cue," and he's going to really just be
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we have to wait till Tuesday, Wednesday, before that. But yeah, it's going to be a great couple of weeks, I think. Just to sort of recap the draw, Tom. Mm-hmm. We've got Judd Trump versus Zhao Yulong. That was the first one out of the hat. How do you feel about that one?
I think that's a tricky draw for Judd. I think Yulong's a very decent player. He's been playing very well, and it'll be interesting to see whether he can sneak through, because I think Yulong is a very underrated player. He's probably should be top 16.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We got Sean Murphy against Dan Wells. Obviously, the big headline one: Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Ali Carter. Ding Junhui taking on Zach Surety. Again, I think that's quite a tough one for Ding, actually. John Higgins versus Joe O'Connor as well. Some really tough matches there.
Well, if they played recently, Joe and John, I seem to think they might have played.
It was the final of the Wuhan Open, wasn't it? I think, or the World Open. Yeah. We've got Mark Williams versus Wu Yiza. I think that's a really tough draw for Mark Williams. Obviously struggling with his eyesight. I don't know whether he's going to play in contacts and glasses or neither. He has been trying a few things out recently. That's a tough match there. Barry Hawkins versus Hossein Vafai. Two players that can absolutely, go on a scoring streak, multiple centuries in a match. I think that's going to be one of the standout matches, actually, if that goes close.
Yeah, that's one. I think they'll both be pretty happy, really, because they'll both think, okay, I've not really got a big hitter, but then there's always someone who's not a big hitter who might get to the semis just by getting a good draw. So.
Yeah. We've got Mark Selby versus Ben Wollaston, which I'll be seeing the second session of next Thursday. That could be one that goes quite late. If that goes close, that could be a late night at the Crucible, couldn't it?
I mean, my immediate thought was, I don't know how much of a second session you might get. It would depend on which Mark Selby turns up. If it's prime Selby, it might be like a few years ago where you only saw one frame of your session.
Yeah, it could be. Could well be. But I've got the first session of a second round match on the other side, which could be John Higgins versus Zhao Gudong, depending on who gets through. Kyron Wilson versus Lei Paifan, the Scottish Open champion. Of course, they'll be opening up on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and the first match to finish as well, because the second session will be at 7 o'clock. I think Kyron will be quite happy with that. Crucible debutant, somebody that didn't breeze through qualifying, had to get through in a decider. I think Kyron will really assert his authority on that match. I think he's well up for trying to break the Crucible curse this year, but we'll talk about that more in our preview podcast. Luca Bressel against Ryan Day, I was saying during the draw, could drop to number 50 in the world if he loses his first round match. And I tell you what, Ryan Day, probably one of the worst draws he could have to try and avoid that happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be I mean, to be fair, Joe, maybe he's just going to go on another run and win every game and win the World Championship.
He could well do.
He's been hustling us for the last 2 years since he won it.
Yeah, maybe. See Xiaowei against Dave Gilbert. That's going to be a good match. Two recent semi-finalists at the Crucible. Dave Gilbert just making it through in the end over Aaron Hill. Neil Robertson versus strictly Chris Wakelin. I think that could be a good match, you know. I really do. We've got Mark Allen versus Fan Zhengyi. Jack Jones versus Zhao Xingtong. Zhao Gudong versus Matthew Selt. And Zhang Ande versus Pang Jung-soo. I think that's everybody. That's certainly everybody that the BBC have posted about. But there you have it, Tom. That is our draw, and some really good matches in there. I've just got a sort of idea of the draw on the screen there for you, Tom, and some of the players that could play each other in the second round. Obviously, you got Kyron Wilson and Jack Jones, potential rematch. But Jack Jones, I think, could struggle. He's got a tough opening match there against Zhao Xintong. Everybody's going to be talking about him. But I tell you what, Zhao will be disappointed that he's in the same 16th as Kyron Wilson.
Yeah, well, and it shows how unpredictable the World Snooker Championship can be when, we could have the two former finalists playing in the second round. One of the semi-finalists, Stuart Bingham, didn't even qualify, and it just shows how mad it all is each year.
And Dave Gilbert could easily have not been there. It's it's very interesting, isn't it? It was really interesting looking at people's reactions in the chat as well. Obviously, the big moment when Ali Carter was drawn out against Ronnie. There's lots of people laughing about that. Tom Mayhew saying classic. There you go. Tom Lewis backing Ronnie to beat him already. But we've got lots and lots of comments in there. We've got an interesting one from Tony saying Trump 10, Selt 0 in the first round, please. Now, obviously, that's not possible anymore because Selt isn't playing Judd Trump, but there you go. Zhao should get past Jones. I would sort of agree with that. Jack Jones has been very quiet this season, hasn't he? But he always seems to turn up at the Crucible.
Exactly, at the Crucible, he is
At the Cruise.
At the Cruise, he drags them down. He really takes them into his little lair, and he plays tricky games that which is part of the game. Do you know what I mean? But his style of play, it does seem to work against some of the big scorers. It does seem to drag them down a bit.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder, folks, we will be doing a daily roundup of every day at the Crucible as much as we can. There will be some days where we can't do it or it doesn't make sense to do it. But we will try and do it as much as possible over the next couple of weeks. We've got our big World Championship preview where we're going to be talking about all 16 matches in excruciating detail. We've got our Cue the Music and Cue the Laughter regular segments coming up as well. So do make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new around here. And obviously we've got our contacts down below, so if you want to get in touch, we read out all of our emails. You've still got a little bit of time to get into our inbox before we record the World Championship preview. But I think we're getting pretty much there, Tom, towards the end. So any final words about the draw there?
No, just thank you everyone for joining us. Really appreciate you being here, and do subscribe and check in because, as Joe said, we'll have daily sort of updates and little bits and bobs throughout the tournament. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to Robertson against Wakelin. You know what I mean? That's not one that people necessarily zoom in on, but for me, I'm like, no, that's a really interesting draw because but Wakelin's never won at the Crucible. He's never won a match. Robertson seems to have rediscovered his form, and it's that thing where you just need to get through the first round, and suddenly you start to go, okay, this person's just a little bit closer. And I think once they get through the first round, that helps players relax. And so either of those, I think if they get into the second round, I think the sky's the limit.
Absolutely, and I think lots of those matches are going to go close. I think there's going to be a lot of seeds drop, and we will be doing our full predictions of that. But it's a very open championship this year. Lots of the informed players, if you like, could go out in round one very easily. I don't think there's an obvious way around it, so I'm really looking forward to dissecting that with you. Just a few stats for you, Tom. At our peak this morning, we had 299 viewers watching us. We could have filled a third of the Crucible with how many people were listening to us at that point. So a massive thank you for that. We've had well over 1,000 people join us this morning, which is brilliant. As I say, keep hitting the thumbs up, get involved down in the comments, and of course, do get in touch via the email. You can listen to us on Spotify, but the video will be out later today with our full World Championship preview. I'm really looking forward to that. So, hopefully you'll join us for that later on. Any final words, Tom?
Just have a nice morning, Hazel. That's all you can say.
Yeah. Good morning, Hazel. Good morning, everybody at home. And we will see you later on.